Okay guys, welcome back. You're watching the STPL. My name is Kix, and joining me just below is Rapid.
Yep, that's me, and we are coming back to a world where Joe Summer has unfortunately been defeated, or Jo Yolum, I think that's Summer in Korean, but either way, yeah, very impressive play by Richly. One of the rare ZBZs where we see Spores be really effective at staving off mutas long enough for a Spire to come up to regain air control that you've lost previously. And, you know, both players had really cool kind of big moves that they made. Richly hiding some lings and running in and killing all of Cadenzi's drones, and then Cadenzi actually coming back and killing off the Spire and even a few drones of her own. Like, wow, that was just such an almost comeback. Really sick game. Kind of rare to see so many dynamic moments in a ZBZ, but that does put SouL up 2-0 coming into our upcoming third game.
Yep, now let's have a look at who our third game players are gonna be. So if you were watching before the break, you will know that I did spoil that it was a ZBZ. Of course, you may have seen the thread before as well. But it's going to be this time for SouL Gaming Spire. Now Spire not had the same kind of record as some of the other players we've had today. He's 2 for 3 in round 2. He did join SouL after one of the first Havatus that he played in at the beginning of round 2, so didn't have any stats from last round, but he is up against one of the Titans from round 2, currently 5 for 1. He is 9 for 2 overall, matching with KuH. Of course, KuH is now 9 for 3, but still an insane player in KuH. Now KuH's actually played 2 ZBZs, he has won both, but he's not yet played a ZBZ here on Troy.
That is true. Not only is it Troy, which functions very differently for ZBZ, because you can kind of turtle, it's a little bit weird, but the idea is that killing the assimilators forms a whole new purpose. And because it is a 4-player map, you can absolutely spawn cross positions. And so there are worlds on this map where you do actually get a chance to see late game ZBZ, but that is just always a rarity. So I wouldn't expect it, but I am very hopeful deep down inside.
Yeah, now this is going to be a 4-player map. Of course, gas bases 4/3. 3, 6, and 9, and 12 of course as well, and you do have the island base, but as it is ZBZ, it's possible that it could come down to a very quick locking off of the bases. Now this map does have the Gold Rush style, this was the original I believe that did this, of assimilators. We can explain that when we get into the game, but it's not guaranteed that we'll come into it either. So let's not waste any more time, let's head into our second ZBZ of the evening, third game between SouL and Red. It's Spire versus KuH. And over here in the top right hand position we do have in the yellow fighting for red, it's gonna be KuH.
That's right, and KuH's opponent from SouL is our Red Zerg player, Spire. Now, Richly just took out Cadenzi, so he has a lot in common with Spire, who just took out Cadenzi 2-0 in Have At You. A really stacked tournament, super sick lineup in the bracket, and Spire actually won that tournament undefeated. Now, he had a couple of easier first-round matches, but he 2-0'd Cadenzi, and then he 2-0'd TY2, who took out Noob, by the way. Noob coming up a little bit later on, also a member of SouL, got 2-1 by TY2. But basically, Spire then 3-0'd Dandy in the finals, and man, just both halves of the bracket were just so sick. So many good matches in that Have At You, to just give a little bit of a pluggerino over there. But the big result from that was that Spire is a badass, and even though KuH is undefeated in ZBZs, Spire's kind of a god.
Yeah, he is. Now, we did see a little bit of variation here. We saw Spire going for a 9 pull. We saw KuH going for that Overlord, or the gas trick even. He will go for an Overlord first. Looks like he might go for an overpull. Now, 12 hatch, very dangerous. So he is going to go for this 12 pull. Now, I know we've said about this before, but it's worth saying again. 12 pull is kind of a middle of the road build. You don't get anything too aggressive. You don't get anything too defensive either. You're kind of just hoping that you don't get like super cheesed and you just try and sort of take the middle ground into that mid game.
Yeah, if you go 12 pool and you're getting like 4 pool, then you're still kind of at a liability. But a lot of times, pro players are good enough to pull drones and hang on until their 12 poolings pop out. It's definitely touch and go, so don't get me wrong. But the idea is, especially on larger maps like this, you run a really big risk of going an early pool build, because if your opponent is cross spawns, then I'm sorry, my dude, your 4 pool lings are just not going to make it there
Yeah.
in time.
Yeah, that'd take a long time. Now, we do see KuH going for a very quick hatchery, and now this is going to give Spire the advantage with lings early on. The defensive advantage could come in very shortly. But one thing to note is these lings could actually make a beeline for this assimilator if they want to lock the lings of KuH in his base, but he is going to force the Spire or the hatchery to cancel, I think, at least.
Yeah, so I think you get the cancel on the hatch first if maybe you build up.
Cancel it. There we go.
Yeah, okay, he does get the cancel off, and he saves the drone too. So sometimes it's easy to lose the drone, but yeah. Now all we need to see from Spire is just hit the assimilators. It's just such a key structure here on Troy. Now, one of the reasons maybe he doesn't want to hit the assimilators is because that might kind of be an asset for KuH, because it would basically let him build up in his base to mutas for free, and he's already kind of going to do that. So, neither player, I think, figuring out whether or not they want to be the one that hits the Spire, the assimilators. And I think Spire is starting to, but I actually don't know if that's the best idea.
Yeah, I mean, we saw in the last game just how insanely useful ling run-bys are in the later stages of the mid-game to try and get any damage done. I know if you haven't seen this this mechanic before, basically an assimilator is slightly smaller than a Vespene Geyser, so when one of them is deleted, or destroyed even, the Vespene Geyser hitbox becomes a little bit bigger and does block any larger units. Now if you kill both, that stops any unit bar a ghost from walking through. Now obviously we're not going to see ghosts here, but we see that Spire is going to try and take down this assimilator.
Yeah, this would essentially make these Zerglings totally useless for KuH, so he recognizes he has to use them now or never. Unfortunately, a couple of them had a bad pathing and wind up just not getting used at all, and so realistically, yeah, even though Spires are on the way, blocking off these assimilators would actually be a big... Either it's great for KuH in that he's protected from ling run-bys, or it's really not great for KuH in that he has no opportunity to get his lings out on the map ever.
Not only that, but one thing that, I mean, I guess we're kind of overlooking because it is ZVZ. If you think about it, if we go later in this game, how is Spire, or how is KuH going to expand if he can't get a drone out of his base? But it looks like he is going to hold on to the assimilator, so he is going to be able to send a drone out eventually. Workers, lings will be able to get through that at the moment. But that's going to be a little bit of a liability later on. The mutless can pop in, do some damage to that as well. And you can see KuH is a little bit worried about moving out on the map.
Yeah, somehow Spire has been able to not only get up a full expansion, but also get mutas out way faster, like way faster. His mutas are already out, and KuH just started his.
And unless I'm being blind, it doesn't look like KuH has link speed either.
Does he not?
I can never tell. Links are so...
I think so. Yeah, he does have link speed. Or
okay.
KuH. Oh, no. Spire has link
yeah,
speed.
but KuH doesn't, I don't think.
Yeah, KuH does not have link speed. Wow.
Yeah, so KuH is actually a lot further behind than you could ever possibly imagine here in this EVZ. You're going to be trying to use Scourge, but nice snipe on that first one. Does get a hit off though with the second one. Does badly bruise that one, and here we go. We're going to have 6 versus 4. And if Spire gets his moving shots down, this could be very, very quick, but there we go, some more Scourge coming in. Doesn't get the connections he's looking for, though, and KuH is going to be forced to retreat. Yeah,
and realistically, he could have tanked those Scourge and just fought for better muta positioning. He would have won the fight, but he might still have lost to incoming reinforcements from KuH. So he goes for the finesse move and micros away, and he's still trying to micro, but Scourge have actually the worst AI, so they will not really be super effective here for KuH. And he's fighting in enemy territory, so the mutas that pop here will instantly get into the fight. And I don't think this is smart. KuH loses all of his mutas, and realistically at this point has lost the game. given perfect control. Now, there's always the opportunity to try to to spore up
Oh, he
and
did get his
defend.
Scourge off, which is something. I mean, he's going to need
Yeah,
a
but
lot of Scourge, but
yeah. And keep in mind that assimilator is still very low, so the mutas can fly over there, kill it, and there's just no way for KuH to ever expand again in his life.
yeah, you can see Link speed has only just started. Like, KuH must have just realized, watching his Links run over the map very, very slowly, this just makes it very difficult to even do any counter damage. Now, the thing is, there isn't a Sunken, there isn't any Links or anything on the other side, so Spire
Yeah.
is forced to keep his mutas back at home for now.
Oh, well, I mean, I think he's just doing that because that's the nail in the coffin, right?
Yeah.
He knows that Zergling all-in is coming.
Ooh,
And if
that's
he
a big
loses to the
Scourge.
Zergling all-in, then, yeah, that would be kind of tragic. He's going for the hatchery, but realistically, even killing the hatch would still leave KuH behind.
Yeah.
Just because he doesn't have as many drones.
I mean, this is a little bit unfortunate, of course, for Red, but GG is called, and KuH is going to be taken down by Spire there in that CBZ. It was a little bit clinical there by Spire, just doing all the right moves, all the right times, but kind of crazy, and that's going to take us into our fourth game. But of course, SouL have now won the series.